You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Wednesday the 29th of July, 2026. It is 38 days after the summer solstice. It is 55 days before the autumnal equinox. In today's episode, Drunken Bees, White Suprematists Acting Badly, the Potato Famine, NASA, an Inventor, and Ken Burns. Today's forecast, mostly cloudy, showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm after 2 p.m. High near 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 26.1 Celsius. Northwest wind 7 to 10 miles per hour. The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch in effect through this evening. The sun rises today at 5:50 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 1:02 p.m. The sun sets today at 8:14 p.m., civil twilight ends at 8:45 p.m., and nautical twilight ends at 9:24 p.m. The length of daytime today is 1 minute 56 seconds shorter than yesterday. The full moon arrives today at 10:37 a.m. By the Lenape reckoning, this is the full corn moon. The moon sets today at 5:35 a.m., and then it rises again at 8:32 p.m. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the wee hours, low tide, 4:41 a.m., 9 centimeters. In the morning, high tide, 10:56 a.m., 1 meter 37. In the afternoon, low tide, 4:48 p.m., 24 centimeters. At night, high tide, 11:05 p.m., 1 meter 58. In our shared realm of plants and animals, a stand of flowers attracts many, many bumblebees. They flit from flower to flower. But 2 bumbles sit perfectly still in the heart of one of the flowers. Are they just resting? Perhaps. But their behavior is so unlike the others. From what we read, it's possible for bees to get drunk. Under humid, hot conditions, flower nectar can ferment, and bees are just as susceptible to the effects of moonshine as humans are. Amongst honeybees, drunkenness is punished when inebriated bees reach the hive. As they stagger through their waggle dance, guardian bees will prevent them from entering the hive. We've even read that the guardians will bite the legs off a drunken bee, a sentence of death. A pretty bleak thought on a bright summer's day. Commemorations. Ponder this. On this day in 1835, a gang in Charleston, South Carolina, raided the local post office. The American Anti-Slavery Society had launched a postal campaign in 1835 to flood the South with abolitionist literature. And so on this day, a vigilante group calling themselves the Lynch Men broke into the post office at 10 p.m., and they found a sack of abolitionist newspapers and journals that the postmaster had carefully set aside in his office. They emerged with the sack undetected. The next evening, at a rally on the parade grounds of the Citadel, the city's military academy, the Lynchmen publicly burned the abolitionist writings and hung 3 prominent abolitionists in effigy. A boisterous crowd of some 2,000 men cheered them on. On this day in 1848, during the Great Famine of Ireland, the Tipperary revolt against British rule was violently put down by the police and militia. 1848 was a year of revolutions across Europe. The Young Irishmen, as the rebels called themselves, were inspired to throw off English rule. The potato famine had devastated the island, and the British had done little or nothing to alleviate the suffering of the starving population. The failed revolt has particular resonance for New Yorkers, as our city was profoundly shaped by masses of Irish refugees that arrived in the wake of the famine. On this day in 1958, President Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, which created NASA. It would coordinate our efforts in space and make possible the moon landing, Skylab, the International Space Station, and countless probes to explore the planets of our solar system. In an era when space is being ceded to oligarchs, we applaud the space agency that belongs to all of us. Today we remember Walter Hunt, born this day in 1796 in northern New York State. He was an inventor of prodigious skill. As a young man, he made his way to New York City and worked here the rest of his life. His most enduring invention was the safety pin. While similar pins had existed for centuries, he added the spring mechanism to the shaped wire form that makes it so practical. He also invented a sewing machine, but his wife and daughter convinced him not to manufacture it, as it would destroy the livings of seamstresses. He's also credited with a foot-operated bell for horse carriages that allowed drivers to sound a warning when both hands were holding the reins. He was a poorer businessman than inventor. He sold his patents for little and never became wealthy from his creations. We applaud his inventiveness and restless spirit of creation. Today we wish a happy birthday to Ken Burns, born this day in 1953 in Brooklyn. He has spent a lifetime making documentaries that explore American history with depth and nuance. The Civil War, baseball, jazz, and this year's The American Revolution are some of his great series. He once said, "It is the great arrogance of the present to forget the intelligence of the past." And he also said, "Read. The book is still the greatest man-made machine of all, not the car, not the TV, not the smartphone." Happy birthday, Ken Burns. And that is the Observatory, Wednesday the 29th of July, 2026.